So we are here wrapping up the end of Black Women Cinema Week, and we saved the best for last, web series. And we're going to be screening 4 web series tonight, and we have 2 of the web series directors, creators here with us today. And I'm going to pass it over to Jackie, and she can introduce herself again, and we can get started with the interview and our guests.
All right, hi everyone. I'm Jackie DJ. I'm the host of What Is Black podcast. It's on Apple, and I'm so happy to be rounding out the week with Rebecca and our guests Cassidy Dixon and Ray Ash.
Yes.
So
thank you for having us.
Thank you for being here today. So before we get started, I guess we could share a little bit first. I guess Ray first about what web series you're screening. And your excitement to be here, I guess.
I am overly excited to be here, and I'm so honored. So thank you, Create Black. I'm so happy. Thank you for having me on the podcast. My series is called Learn How to Marry Me, and it's based on women within the Black community whom are looking to be married. They are suitors. They have a list. But for some realistic lists and some people, some ladies, a list that has been restructured to fit their new lifestyle. Pretty much the reason why I created is because women like myself who are goal-driven, they want that family. I am a single mom raising a son. My son will be attending grad school. So it's like, there's no
grad school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But thank you. And but we haven't found our forever mate or soulmate. So it's very realistic view. We have an aeronautical engineer who's right here in the Washington area. She'll be here tonight, which is Micah. And we have a young lady who's a DJ, but she's a professional celebrity DJ. Another woman who's she's a nurse, a registered nurse, and another mother who's of an autistic child who took her own like not issues, but trying to raise her child in that manner into her own hands by creating her own charity for autistic children. So, but trying to find love at the same time. So it's really resonating because there's a lot of women who are having the same challenges, trying to find that right person for them. And this show is kind of like a navigation for those women who want to know answers or have a familiarity with other women who are going through that. So.
Sounds good.
No, thank you.
Well, yes, for me, I'm very excited to be here. I actually just graduated from Howard University this past May, and then I moved to Houston, so I was excited to come back to DC, especially for the festival. This is actually the first festival I'm being featured in outside of school, so I'm really excited about that. And my web series is called Top 5. I actually wrote it when I was about 19 years old. I was interning in New York. I was 19 and I just spent the whole summer, and I was like, I'm just gonna write a whole 8-episode web series. So that's how it kind of started. It was very inspired by teen drama shows. I think my sister was watching Gossip Girl at the time on Netflix, and I was like, oh, I was watching Gossip Girl when I was your age. So it was just some like this show that kind of got passed down, and it was just very dramatic and fun for everyone to watch. I was like, you know what, I want something like this, but something that kind of represents Black women at a HBCU and kind of shows that kind of more like brunch and happy hour lifestyle, but then also shows all the things that these women are doing. At Howard, a lot of women were a part of businesses, creating businesses and lots of organizations and leadership roles and everything. So I wanted to show that, represent that in a series, while at the same time show them actually collaborating with each other. Because it's sort of turned into a competition thing. I think at the time, the Cardi B versus Nicki Minaj was like a huge thing. So I was like, instead of competing against each other, why don't we like all stay at the top together and collaborate and see what we can create? So that was really the inspiration behind Top 5. And then finally, I think it was 2 years later, my senior year of college, I decided to finally bring it to life. So that's how it came about.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So it's interesting. The Cinema Week, right, has really focused on what different types of filmmaking medium, right? And I was wondering, it was curious for me, why choose web series as opposed to a documentary or a longer form film, a short film? I just want, like, what about that particular medium spoke to you to get your work?
For myself, I can honestly say that because social media has changed everything. You would almost say the easiest way to navigate into the realm of television, film, and documentary would be to have a web series of some sort, whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, because you can put a lot of information into that. And it's also a great tool to show your creative skills in that particular area. So I'm thankful that they even created that, because I think that's something that's relatively a few years young with adding web series or pilot series or experimental. And it does give creatives like myself a great avenue, because now you can see my documentary and say, okay, I saw her web series. I trust what she's going to make. I'll turn into that. So I pretty much...
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I had actually started up a YouTube channel in high school, and so when I had started YouTube, I started to see it as a platform. I just kind of did it randomly. I was like, oh, I know how to make videos and post them, so I started it that way. But then it became this huge platform where people were building their audiences and starting to generate even profit from that. And you can see your analytics and who's watching you and where they're watching you from and how long they're watching and everything. So from there, I knew I wanted to go into that realm of just web series, because it was easier for me to navigate, and it was definitely a way to gain a lot of exposure through there.
And if I may, I'm sorry. Sure. And if you look at what happened with CR8 from Awkward Black Girl,
definitely.
she kind of set she set the tone for that. I mean, there are others, but she really has shown you what a web series or what a YouTube series via web can do for you. Because look at her platform now. So.
Oh yeah, she's blown up.
Yes,
Yeah, right.
has.
Insecure. Yeah. and I saw on Twitter. Oh well, maybe I don't know. Maybe people haven't seen their Twitter feed. There's someone coming back.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can give it away or not. But,
So,
but if you have Twitter, you probably know,
Yeah.
know who I'm talking about.
Yeah. We won't spoil it for her. Or yeah.
So I think the one other thing that was really on my heart to ask was I saw some film from, I think earlier this week, maybe Wednesday, one of the airings of one of the films presented from the filmmakers. And the one thing that resonated with me was the word power, right? I don't know if they actually said that, but that's what I heard, right? There's this power in filmmaking, one, but then it got me thinking even more, the question of, what do you think the power of Black filmmakers is? And do you feel that you own that power? So either Ray or Cassidy.
I do. I really feel that it has mastered itself in the last, I would say, 5 to 10 years with Lena Waithe. You have the Ava DuVernays, and you have the Issa Raes, and now you have the Kerry Washingtons who've joined forces with Will and Jada Pinkett Smith. So that alone has shown like our power. And then you look at the power of Tyler Perry and what he has grown from 20 years ago, Medea until now. So there is a lot of...
And it's interesting, right? I'm thinking,
Yes.
I mean, even though Tyler Perry is a man,
Mm-hmm.
the fact that he chose to be a Black woman, right? To me, like... But,
because of the power.
Yes.
It's all structured, because he knew what would his particular audience would gravitate toward. And I think now when you see the Oprah Winfrey and the Kathy Hughes, who has taken that power to stations to build their own, that opens it up for women like ourselves and for this particular cinema week. Because you'll see that there are more women with a lot more to say within our communities, outside, abroad, and that comes back from us kind of like, I don't mean to go in this area, but the white glaze, because a lot of our stuff does get glazed over even if it's for us. I had the pleasure of seeing Harriet recently that was produced and directed and written by Casey Lemons. And there was so much power watching Harriet Tubman that I didn't know she even had this. Like, oh, this is really why they want her on a dollar bill. This woman was phenomenal. And to see that we have our voices being spoken through people like Casey Lemons, that shows Hollywood, Black Hollywood, they want to see more of us. So to take advantage of that, I think it's imperative right now, because we do have power. We've always had it, but we just didn't have, I hate to say it, had the opportunity to really grab it. And now it's like full force, you can't take it. First of all, social media is too large. We have too many platforms. We have great experiences like this right here. So therefore, it's going to continue to be power driven with these women, us coming out with our voices. So yeah, it's going to be more.
That was great. Hard to follow. No, there's definitely, I agree, there's power in representation. And so when people start to see themselves represented, it's a whole nother realm.
Yeah.
Right now with the whole, I think her name is, I don't want to butcher it, but Hallie, who's playing the Little Mermaid. Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Like just having that representation now, there was a lot of conflict with that on Twitter and social media and everything, but it just opens up the realm and possibility for Black girls to see themselves as a princess growing up. So just having that power and representation, and then now they see that they can also be filmmakers and they can also show their voice and tell the stories that they want to tell, makes filmmaking, especially as a Black person, very powerful.
Absolutely.